Today, I want to introduce you to somewhere that means a lot to me. Miri, my hometown in Sarawak, Malaysia. We flew in from Singapore, which was about a 2-hour flight. After arriving at the airport, our personal chauffeur came to pick us up. We arrived around 7 p.m, so we headed back to our hotel first before going to grab dinner. We stayed at the Mercure Hotel for the whole trip, 6 days and 5 nights. One small thing I love about the hotel is they have replaced all the bottled water with a drinking water filtration system, making it more environmentally friendly. Since it was getting late, we decided to grab dinner nearby right across the street, which was this cozy Vietnamese restaurant, Saigon Republic. This place was so beautifully decorated that walking in makes you feel like you are in Vietnam. We were super hungry after our flight and ended up ordering this enormous beef soup hot pot. We also ordered their crispy pork platter and crispy rolls. Maybe it was because we were super hungry, but everything was super delicious. We were up by 6 a.m. the next morning. In Miri, the sun rises earlier than Singapore, so by the time we had woken up, the day had already started. Breakfast was at Mdm Wee, a local food cafe famous for its Sarawak laksa and kolo. Our first proper stop of the trip was Niah National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and one of the most significant archaeological sites in Southeast Asia. Earlier this year, there was major flooding, which meant large parts of it were still closed off. We were a little disappointed as we wanted to visit the Great Cave and Painted Cave. Entry fees are 10 RM for Malaysians and 20 RM for non-citizens. It is also worth knowing that flooding is quite common in this part of Miri. So if you are planning a visit, remember to check the conditions beforehand. To get to the troughs, you will need to take a short boat crossing. 1 RM per person and a little more if you are heading back after a certain hour. And then the hike begins. Niah's trail winds through the jungle. We hiked for about an hour before we finally reached Trader's Cave. Before reaching the cave, we came across a little rest stop selling drinks. I genuinely wondered whether she has to hike an hour back and forth to set up her stall. Trader's Cave was once a bustling marketplace for bird's nest and guano collectors who would come here to trade, and during harvesting season, their entire families would live inside the cave alongside them. The wooden structures you see are remnants of the huts they built. Oh, feel like got the beds. We weren't sure which structures were sleeping quarters and which were for work, but this dug-up plot is certainly interesting. Due to the flooding, we could only hike up to this point. But the view from here made the entire hike worth it. After all that hiking, we were starving, so we headed to Sing Chong restaurant for lunch. Popular for their famous giant river prawns, 1 kilogram costs about 150 RM, which works out to roughly 45 RM per prawn. We also ordered some coconut to hydrate ourselves. The prawns were impressive to look at, but the taste was nothing amazing. We also ordered ngoh hiang and stir-fried beef. After lunch, we made our way to Tunskan Beach, one of several beaches along Miri's coastline. Since Miri sits on the northwestern edge of Borneo, beaches are just a part of everyday life. My father recently got a drone and he has been using it at every opportunity. There is a kind of calmness in Miri that you can never find in the city. Just a cool breeze, gentle waves, and the sound of your own thoughts. This is exactly what I needed, a break from my hectic work life. Ordered honey lemon and watermelon juice, a few things to share, bolognese, nachos, and the naan-lu fried rice. The naan-lu fried rice was definitely the highlight of the trip. To close out the night, we headed to Churchill Lounge, a bar that caught my attention. There is something about Miri that they really love rotating doors. This is the second one we encountered, and both of us were having a hard time figuring out how to get in. As soon as we entered, jazz music began to play, instantly lightening the atmosphere. It was surprisingly quiet for a Friday night, which honestly made it better for us to talk and chill. Their cocktails were genuinely excellent. I had the summer in Westminster, a gin mixed with floral accents, light and aromatic. My boyfriend went for a whiskey omakase, which he enjoyed. Today was a slow day and we ordered breakfast in through Grab. We got condensed milk youtiao and char kway teow from Kopi and Wing. Sweet and crispy and savoury, a little indulgent first thing in the morning. Our first stop of the day was Canada Hill, one of Miri's most important landmarks. It sits on top of a hill overlooking the city and is home to Malaysia's very first oil well. Inside the Petroleum Museum, we learned that in 1910, Shell began drilling the first exploratory well here. What followed wasn't just oil, it was the foundation of an entire region's economy. The well ran for over 6 decades, quietly powering Sarawak's growth, until it was finally decommissioned in 1972. The following year, Shell handed the site over to the state government, and instead of letting it disappear into the past, they chose to preserve it. Today, Canada Hill is a protected historical site. It serves not only as a reminder of the industrial past, but also as a symbol of the region's resilience and development, carefully preserving the memory of the country's first steps in the energy industry. Our last stop before heading home was Piasau Nature Reserve, a patch of protected forest right in the city known for one thing above all else, hornbills. We walk in full of optimism, even though the forest looked a little more ominous than expected. I spent most of the walk asking my boyfriend questions that had no good answers.
Hornbill don't attack people, right?
I don't know. I'm not a bird. I'm not a bird.
No.
Bird person.
Lucky we got hat. Later my father's head get pecked.
What we did not anticipate was the number of mosquitoes. Not a few, not a normal amount. There was a point where a sensible person would have turned back, but we kept going. We finally made it out to the other side. Slightly itchy, a little sweaty, and with 0 hornbill sightings. The hornbills had clearly heard we were coming. Then we headed to try this famous corn-fed chicken rice.
它底下没有点到什么的。
and ate ice kacang and rojak.
它两边呢。